Good to see you this morning. It is now 8 a.m. I'm here to give you the latest going on with our forecast as we continue to track the possibility of snow across the Piedmont Triad. Already seeing some reports over into portions of Virginia, so going to start out here with you as we continue to see more and more rainfall kind of moving in and across our area. Mainly just cold rain for now, I would say, all across the area. Live rainfall, mainly just that cold kind of dreary rainfall that we've been seeing all across the Piedmont Triad. And that's going to continue really over the next couple of hours before we start to see that little bit more of a transition to snow as we step into the afternoon too. So that's going to be the kind of period that we're going to be tracking for the transition as we head later into the morning into the early afternoon. For now, it mainly is just cold rainfall across the area. And we're going to be seeing that kind of transition again later onto the morning. We are in a winter weather advisory as we step into the next couple of hours. That's going to last until Tuesday morning. Due to the fact that we could see some widespread kind of snow across the area later on this morning into the early afternoon. I'm not expecting a lot of accumulation though. We do have a weather impact alert. This is 8 a.m. all the way until 4 p.m. with rain and snow kind of mixing, and then mainly just snow showers. Take a look at the radar right now with these showers continuing to build in and across the region. It mainly is just that cold rainfall across the area for now, as temperatures are continuing to linger right above freezing in the mid to upper 30s all across the area over toward Asheboro too. Again, this kind of steady, very cold rain for now as temps kind of continue to linger in the mid to upper 30s. We'll start to see changes though when temperatures fall below 30 or 32 or sitting right at around or below freezing later into the morning also as we head into this afternoon too. Greensboro right now mid to upper 30s across the area with some of those drops there on the Skycam. Wake Forest Skycam too. Not much to see, mainly just that light rain with a lot of clouds kind of lingering in and across the area. Current conditions, we're in the mid to upper 30s right now, 36 in Burlington as well as in Reedsville, 37 in Greensboro. Blowing Rock right now, though, it is a winter wonderland. We're sitting right at around freezing, where they're seeing a lot of snow showers for now. We could get some light accumulation, but again, it's mainly going to be on grasses as well as on elevated surfaces that we're really going to be seeing that kind of snow chance. Some of our latest models here want to give us up to around half an inch or so. Mainly the biggest concern I would say is wanting to watch for slick spots as we step into this afternoon as well as into the night tonight and especially into early on Tuesday. I look at the satellite radar now, again, mainly just cold rain. Some of our models have us giving up to around an inch to 2 inches, especially north of our area, but that's going to be coming in later this morning as well as early into the afternoon. Some of our models want to give us as much as 2 inches in northern counties. That's more of a sure bet over into the Virginia border, and we are going to be seeing this again later into this afternoon too as temperatures kind of continue to drop. That Arctic air is going to move in. Right now, we're in the mid to upper 30s across the area, and it really is just that kind of cold rainfall across the region. Snow potential, another one of our models want to give us around 1 to 2 inches, but we currently have, again, this is draped across Forsyth, as well as in Greensboro, Guilford County, as well as in Alamance County. A trace up to around an inch is going to be mainly possible. Not expecting anything like what you're seeing right here on the Blowing Rock camera. 1 to 2 inches north of us over toward parts of Rockingham, northern Caswell, northern Stokes, northern Surrey, as well as in Allegheny, and also in northern portions of Wilkesboro too. Haven't seen any reports yet of anything mixed currently across our region, but for now, again, it mainly is just kind of that cold rainfall that's settled in across the region as temperatures are lingering above freezing, mid to upper 30s all across the area. Mainly to our north over into parts of Virginia, they could see up to around 1 to 3 inches of snowfall. Again, this is going to continue through the early afternoon hours. So we haven't seen that kind of rainfall, as you can see on the live radar, moving in and expect that to continue as we continue to move into the next couple of hours. I am going to be seeing more of those snow chances as temperatures start to drop later on into the morning, into the early afternoon. You're going to want to make sure you're watching for slick spots, not only later into the morning, but also into the afternoon too. Another big thing, big hazard that we're going to have to continue to track is going to be the potential for black ice as we step into the night tonight, especially with if you see some wet roads and a little bit of ponding too. That can refreeze overnight as we are expecting temperatures to go into the lower 20s on Tuesday morning. Again, we're in the mid to upper 30s for right now, but we are going to be seeing those temperatures drop here over the next couple of hours. Again, mix of rain and snow to start the day, but snow showers are going to be on the way as we head into midday. And I really do think that any accumulation is going to be much more of a guarantee over toward very grassy areas as well as in some of those elevated spots too. You're going to want to be careful while you're on bridges as well as on overpasses, and also looking for slick spots on the roads too. But roads mainly just going to be wet into the afternoon. For now, again, this mainly is just cold rainfall, plain old cold rainfall moving in and across our region, but we certainly are seeing it coming down. I think that rain-snow mix going to be starting to kind of flip over by around 10 or 11 o'clock. More of a chance for those snow showers later into around midday and into the early afternoon hours. Accumulation mainly going to be continuing to watch for again, the slick spots into the night tonight as temperatures sit in the mid to upper 20s later on. And it's going to be very, very cold into early tomorrow morning. Lower 20s I currently have all across the area. So what makes this setup different than what we had just last Friday? Well, last Friday, the cold air was not locked in before the moisture came. The moisture actually came quicker than originally thought across the region, and that was the reason why we weren't able to see the snowfall across the area too. But we still had a couple of mixing across northernmost counties, and especially some isolated rain pellets over here in Greensboro. But in this kind of setup too, we have currently the moisture moving in with the cooler air. So I think that's why we're a little bit more favorable to see some more flakes as we step later into the morning, into the early afternoon. Again, trace up to around half an inch, probably more so for Guilford County, maybe in Alamance County, as well as in Forsyth, Yadkin, and in Wilkesboro. 1 to 2 inches, mainly north of us, over in Surrey, Stokes, Rockingham, as well as in Caswell. As you go north, you're going to have better chances of seeing that snowfall all across the area. Again, right now, what you're seeing on your screen, mainly just cold rainfall as we kind of linger above freezing. For right now, we are in the mid to upper 30s all across the area. And we're going to be waiting for those temperatures to kind of continue to cool down into this later this morning and into the afternoon. We're 37 right now in Greensboro, 35 in Danville, 37 in Winston-Salem, as well as in Siler City. So lots of raindrops there on the Greensboro Skycam. It really is going to be over the next few hours that we're waiting for the Arctic air to kind of build into the region, and that's going to tell us whether or not we're able to see, or how much we're going to see snowfall-wise as we slip into the afternoon. Again, the snow shower is likely going to be tapering off as we head into evening around sunset. Not going to look anything like Blowing Rock there, where it kind of looks like a winter wonderland. Again, this is not a bread and milk kind of grocery store run snowstorm, right? We are going to be continuing to track kind of light showers throughout the morning, and again, light accumulation going to be possible for a lot of us as we step into this afternoon too. And I'm going to let us go full screen so you can kind of get a better view of what exactly is going on. We are in a weather impact alert. Again, that's going to continue to 4 p.m. due to this rain and snow mix that's going to transition to snow as we step into the later morning hours, especially for the afternoon. For now, we're just looking at plain cold rainfall all across the area. Starting to see temperatures fall just a bit, and we will continue to do so over the next little bit too. And we're going to be seeing that kind of rain-snow mix continue into the early afternoon, wrapping up by around 4 or 5 o'clock Um, Still a lot of clouds kind of going to be lingering across the area. It's from this cold front moving in and across the region. We're in the mid to upper 30s right now in Greensboro. A lot of just cold rainfall currently lingering across the area. So if you're out, make sure you're being cautious. You're looking for any sort of slick spots. And a reminder, of course, make sure you're also layered up before you're heading outdoors.
Good morning, Piedmont Triad. I'm WFMY News 2 meteorologist Ed Matthews. We appreciate you joining us here on WFMY Plus. Of course, we're tracking some weather across the Piedmont this morning, and we want to update you on what's going on. So far, it's just been mainly rain, but we still expect some colder air to work into the Piedmont. And I think before the day is over, we may actually see a little wet snow. Looking at that around midday and into the afternoon, a situation where we've got moisture or cold air chasing moisture moving out, cold air moving in, and I think there's going to be a window of opportunity there where we see a little snow. But again, so far this morning, it has been rain across our part of the Piedmont. Let's switch over to some graphics here, and we'll go over to Max 1, and we'll start out by talking about what's in effect with our weather impact alert. Now, the forecast team was texting back and forth each other yesterday. Should we issue an alert or what? We decided to do so just to make sure that you are safe. This is not going to be a big winter weather event or anything like that, but as we know, it doesn't take much to cause icy conditions on the streets and highways. So there you have it. And we're looking at the time frame from 8 o'clock this morning until about 4 o'clock this afternoon. We've had some rain this morning. We think as cold air gradually works in, we'll see a little snow-rain mix. And then if enough of that Arctic air moves in behind an Arctic cold front, I think we're going to see a window of snow showers midday and into the afternoon, and that could bring maybe a little dusting on some grassy areas and colder objects, and maybe a little accumulation on especially bridges and overpasses. Just like when it's just plain old rain, what you need to do is just be extra careful on the highways. Now, as we take a look at our radar, I was talking earlier this morning on our morning show, green is good if you don't want the messy wintry precipitation. As we look at our radar, remember, kind of a review here, the green is rain, the pink peach color is a mix, and then the white, we're talking about snow, and we're getting some of that up in Virginia. It is snowing to beat the band in the Boone and also Blowing Rock area. Of course, higher elevations there. The atmosphere is cold enough for them to sustain some snow. But right now, it is very light and spotty rain here in our part of the Piedmont, is noted with the green. Now, for those of you that may be traveling up into the Old Dominion today, up into Virginia, you may want to call ahead because, the snow is coming down. As a matter of fact, very interesting, they have a winter storm warning in effect for parts of Virginia, where they could get several inches of snow today. And you can see the white there all across southwestern and central Virginia, so the snow is coming down. But again, in our part of the Piedmont, it is rain for the moment, but I think very gradually a little bit more of a mix of snow and rain, and then that window of opportunity midday around lunchtime and into the afternoon where we could see a little snow here in the Piedmont. And with that in mind, the National Weather Service has issued a winter weather advisory. But get this, it went into effect at 7 o'clock this morning, but it's in effect all the way until noon coming up on Tuesday. And you say, why in the world? Well, any leftover moisture tonight is going to refreeze because temperatures tonight, as the sky clears, are going to drop down to right around the 20-degree mark. Now, here's what we're looking at right now. Maybe a little dusting on grassy and elevated surfaces, mainly from I-40 and points to the north. And then you get up into southern Virginia, maybe 1 to 3 inches of snow. And that could be the case, maybe around an inch along the Virginia border. But the key is that we've got to get the colder air in here if we're going to get some wintry precipitation. Temperatures this morning have been generally into the low and even mid-30s, but we expect the temperatures to start to drop as some of that Arctic air works in. Now, these are the current temperatures, and look at this, 37 at Walnut Cove, 36 over over at Stoneville and Reedsville, 37 in Greensboro, High Point, Winston-Salem, Burlington at 36, 36 over at Lexington, and even in beautiful Wilkesboro, the temperature there is at 36. Now, the Arctic front is still west of our area, so we're kind of in the warmer air sector, hence the rain. But once the front moves through around lunchtime, when we get on the backside of it, some of that very cold Arctic air is going to try to work into the region, and as it does, we expect a changeover. But again, a situation where cold air is chasing moisture, so there will be a small window of maybe some just plain old snow, but it's going to be moving out rather quickly as we head through the rest of the afternoon. And then this Arctic high pressure is going to control our weather for the next few days. It'll slide south of our area by Wednesday and help to warm us up a little bit, maybe some low 50s by Wednesday. Now we look at the upper level pattern. This is the way it looks for Wednesday, taking a big dip in the jet stream over the eastern part of the United States, and that's the reason we're going to go down to about 21 under a clear sky tonight. But look at the long range forecast for temperatures expected to remain well below normal for this time of year, and in terms of precipitation, we're expected to be drier than normal. We'll see if that plays out. So we'll be watching for the rain this morning to change over to some wet snow before ending. Temperatures hold into the low and mid 30s today, and then clearing much colder tonight. By tomorrow morning, we're going to be right around the 20-degree mark. A cold day coming up on Tuesday, partly sunny, and temperatures will be right around the 40-degree mark. That all-important 7-day forecast. Of course, we'll warm up low 50s on Wednesday and near 50 coming up on Thursday. Claire Fry will be back with you coming up in a few minutes. I'm going to switch you over to some rotating graphics that we have that showing various radars. And you look very closely, you'll see a camera shot of Boone and Blowing Rock in that mix as well, where it is winter white in those regions. Stay with us for the rest of the 8 o'clock hour. We'll continue to keep you updated. You have a great and safe day.
Good to see you this Monday morning. I'm meteorologist Claire Fry, here to give you the latest forecasts, of course, as we continue to track this wintry kind of weather mix that's going to be possible across our area, especially as we head into the later hours of the morning and into early this afternoon. So, most of our area, again, at least northern parts, are all under a weather advisory, a winter weather advisory. That's until actually Tuesday morning, due to the fact that we are going to be seeing that potential for black ice, especially as roads tend to refreeze and temperatures are expected to drop into the lower 20s on Tuesday morning. For now, again, zooming out a little bit, it's not just us. Again, this is northern parts of central North Carolina, just north of Raleigh, and into Raleigh too, with that winter storm warning taking up much of Virginia over toward Roanoke. So a lot of people are being affected by this storm. At the latest look here at some of our latest storm reports, mainly just that snow over in northern parts of Virginia, but I do know that people are seeing some flakes right now over toward Roanoke. Again, as temperatures continue to drop and that Arctic air builds in, we are going to be seeing more of a chance for that snow over the next few hours and into early into the afternoon. A look at our winter radar. For the most part, right now, we are just seeing that kind of cold rain sit across our area. Pretty steady at times, I would say. You know, on my way to work, I had on the wipers, and that was really helpful. And starting to see, of course, a little bit more of a mixing over toward the border of North Carolina and Virginia. That's where you're more so seeing that snow, especially over in the mountains, of course, where the temperatures are cold enough. I like to pull up this map particularly because it gives you kind of a view of where temperatures are kind of sitting. So, of course, you're going to see green, which is rain, where temperatures are going to be above freezing. We're right now in the mid to upper 30s across the area, 36 in Reidsville, 37 in Greensboro, as well as in Winston-Salem, 32 lingering right at freezing over in Boone, as well as in Jefferson, all the way on the left side of your screen, and that's where you're seeing the purple right now. So let's take a view over there of what's going on, and it's a winter wonderland. It is beautiful right now. Take a look at this. You can even see the power lines right now being draped by that snow kind of continuing to come down, and it is beautiful. And I'm going to kind of sit on this for a second just to kind of show you, how much they've already seen in the last couple of hours. Again, and it's still coming down pretty heavily right there. It is a beautiful view over toward Blowing Rock. In Boone, it's the same story too, right here along King Street. 32 degrees, that snow is coming down. And again, this is currently right now across the area. This is live. Want to be careful if you're driving over there toward the mountains. You can see everything just coated in white. It really is just kind of a winter wonderland. Don't expect that for us here in the Triad for the day today. Although we do have a little bit of a snow chance, we are going to be mainly just seeing some light accumulation over the next 12 hours. Again, snow chances going to be kind of starting to amp up here in the next few hours, continuing into the early afternoon as we linger right below or at freezing. It really is going to kind of depend on when that Arctic air gets here, on how much that we could get across the area. So we are in this weather impact alert until 4 o'clock this afternoon due to that rain kind of snow mix, then that kind of transition later in this morning into snow showers. What you need to do, make sure you're watching for slick spots, especially heading into tonight with, roads that are mainly just going to be wet, but a lot of them can refreeze as temperatures tonight I expect to drop into the lower 20s. Very cold for early tomorrow morning. So keep that in mind when you're waking up tomorrow too. But right now we're in the mid to upper 30s, 37 in Greensboro as well as in Winston-Salem, 36 in Lexington and in Burlington. Again, all above freezing, which is why we're continuing just to see that kind of plain, nasty, cold rainfall across the area. Here's that forecast planner for the day today. Again, that rain-snow mix over the next couple of hours as temperatures linger above freezing, but later on we're going to have to watch for those slick spots as we dive underneath freezing, and we're able to see some more kind of chances for snow showers later in the morning, early into the afternoon. It's all being forced by this cold front that's going to be moving in across our area. Did you take a look at that into early Tuesday morning? Look at that, 21 currently has for, this is one of our feature casts, obviously. This is just a estimation of what temperatures could be like early tomorrow morning, but 21 degrees is very cold across our area. That hard freeze is going to cause some issues for refreezing across the region, especially for any wetness on the road. So please be careful while you're out and about. High pressure is going to be building in, and we're going to see a bit more sunshine as we step into Tuesday and Wednesday ahead of our next system that could be bringing in another chance of a shower later into the week. So here's the Futurecast over the next few hours. Again, as of now, wants to say that we are at or just below or just above freezing, but we are going to be seeing more of a chance later in the morning into the early afternoon. Here's a look at snow models in terms of what model says that we might get something. And a couple of days ago, the GFS right there on the center of your screen was the only model that wanted to give us really anything substantial. And that changed actually while I was at work yesterday. And we've been seeing the numbers kind of grow, which is why we've kind of hopped on the trend of saying that we could get up to around half an inch, maybe up to an inch, maybe if we're lucky, and temperatures dive below freezing sooner rather than later. So here's one point of view of what we could possibly see from the European model that wants to give Reidsville up to around 2.5, Greensboro up to around half an inch to an inch. I think this one is one of the more reasonable models for right now, maybe a little bit less in Reidsville. Another model right here wants to give us around 1 to 2 inches, again, and that's assuming that temperatures are able to get below freezing here within the next couple of hours. It really is just going to kind of depend on when these temperatures are able to drop, because right now the moisture's sitting over us, so we really just need those temperatures to continue to dwindle over the next few hours. So snow forecast, we do have a trace up to an inch, and that includes us here in Greensboro all the way through portions of Reidsville and Rockingham County, and also in Stokes and Surrey County. Mainly going to see that better opportunity for snow along the Virginia and North Carolina border, 1 to 2 inches. As you head more and more north, you'll have better opportunity of seeing more. And again, this is mainly along grassy areas as well as on elevated surfaces. I really don't know that this is going to be covering a whole lot, especially with ground temperatures in the upper 30s. Would kind of melt that snow, of course, as it continues to lay down, but we will see. So what makes this system different than the one we had on Friday? Well, the one on Friday, we didn't have cold air locked in time. We actually saw that moisture move in a lot quicker than expected. And because of that, we weren't able to see the flakes across the area. But if we're able to see kind of that timing match up a little bit more as we're expecting over the next couple of hours, then we could see some flakes across the Piedmont, albeit better opportunity over in northern parts of the area. But a trace up to an inch, maybe half an inch in Greensboro. And again, better opportunity as you continue to extend north, especially along the North Carolina and Virginia border. We'll continue to track that. So again, this is all from this cold front that's moved through the area. It's moving through currently, bringing in that very cold air. As it does so, tomorrow morning is going to be a freezing one. You're going to want to make sure you are nice and bundled up for the day tomorrow. Again, this weather impact alert is going to last until this afternoon by around 4 o'clock. That's when we start to see that snow chance kind of taper off into the evening too. And that's really our best shot of when we're going to be seeing those flurries, later into the morning, early into the afternoon, when temperatures have a chance to drop at or below freezing. Make sure you're watching for slick spots while you are out and about, not only today, but also as we head into the day on Tuesday as well, because we could see that refreezing, and that black ice could certainly be an issue across our area. I'm going to show you the Futurecast one more time to kind of give you an idea of the timeline of when this could all kind of go down over the next few hours. Transition going to be possible really by around 11 o'clock or so. Drying out a little bit by the afternoon with a couple of isolated flurries going to be possible really through around 4 or 5 o'clock. By then, we are drying out, and we're already seeing temperatures drop into the low to mid 20s as we step into the 11 o'clock hour. Those winds coming in out of the north, bringing in that much cooler air across the region. Make sure you are bundled up heading into this afternoon and evening. Blowing rock camera again one more time. It's beautiful right now across the area. Winter wonderland. Don't expect that for us right now as we head into the day today. Really, again, to trace up to around a half an inch going to be possible. Again, mainly on elevated surfaces as well as on grassy areas into this afternoon. Here's a full look at your 7-day forecast. If I can get that up for you. Here it comes, slowly but surely After the day today, we're going to be back in the upper 30s to right at around 40 for Tuesday afternoon. More peaks of sunshine, but black ice going to be possible in the morning. 50s return on Wednesday.
Good morning, everybody. We're coming up on 8:45 the time here. Thank you so much for being with us on WFMY Plus. Me and meteorologist Claire Fry are keeping you company today and telling you all about this little bout of winter weather that we're dealing with here locally. Well, so far, it's been in the form of rain. But we think as the atmosphere gets colder, we're going to bring in maybe a little mixed rain and snow, and then it could end as a little light snow during the midday and afternoon. We got to get some of that cold Arctic air in here, and so far that hasn't happened. It's got to climb over the higher terrain of the Blue Ridge, but it's already in the Blue Ridge. As a matter of fact, I want to show you here as we go to our graphics. I knew you'd like this. So that's the reason I put it in my show. This is a live look of beautiful Blowing Rock, North Carolina, where the current temperature is at the freezing mark, 32 degrees. I think it's safe to say that some of that Arctic air is working into the Boone and Blowing Rock area right now. The Boone camera is down, so I wasn't able to show you that, but I know that they've got some snow up on the mountain this morning. Now, this is a lovely, lovely sight. You can see on those roadways there in Blowing Rock, a little icy condition there. Here in our part of the Piedmont, still questionable as to whether we would have any road conditions. So far, we don't have any, but once we see that changeover that we are expecting midday and into the afternoon, we could see some icy spots, especially on bridges and overpasses. Now, your forecast team spent a while yesterday trying to decide whether we need a weather impact alert for today. And the consensus was that we want you to be informed and we want you to be safe in any type of weather situation where we're talking about, rain or especially winter situation. So we do have a weather impact alert for today. The time frame we're looking at, 8 o'clock this morning until about 4 p.m. So far it's been rain, but we think we'll start to see a little mixed rain and snow. Some of you may already be seeing that right now, but in general, this is mainly rain. And then if we get some of that Arctic air here into the Piedmont, and it may take a while for it to arrive, we think we'll see some snow showers before it tapers off during the afternoon. Whatever falls out of the sky today, just be safe and make sure you're extra careful on the roadways. Now, let's review the colors on the radar. The green means rain. The pink peach color, which we don't see much of, means kind of a mixed bag of precipitation. And then the white, of course, means snow. And we're seeing that up over northwestern North Carolina, i.e. around the Blowing Rock area. And we're seeing that up over Virginia as well. That is just pure snow coming down over the Old Dominion. As a matter of fact, some portions of central and southwestern Virginia could rack up several inches of snow, and a part of central Virginia is under a winter storm warning for accumulating snow. So if you had planned a trip up that way, you may want to call ahead and just check on the conditions there. But again, so far it's been mainly rain here in our part of the Piedmont, but we look south of Lexington where there's a little white there. Yeah, we could see a little mixed bag of precipitation with this rain, and then see the changeover late morning and into the afternoon hours. With the prospects of a little bit of winter weather, the National Weather Service has issued a winter weather advisory from the Triad northward into southern Virginia. You see that pink area there? Winter storm warning on up into Virginia. So yeah, those folks are going to get a nice snow up that way. This advisory, incidentally, goes until Tuesday midday, because anything that falls today, whether it be snow snow or rain. If there's any hanging around in some of those divots on the highway, it will definitely freeze tonight as temperatures will drop to right near 20 degrees. Now, this is subject to change, but this is what we're looking at right now. We think from the Triad north to the Virginia border, we could see some accumulation, minor accumulation, mainly on elevated surfaces and also grassy areas as well. But you get right near the Virginia border, yeah, we could rack up an inch or so of snow, and then of course maybe upwards of 2 to 3 inches of snow as you go farther into Virginia. You head south of the Metro Triad towards Asheboro and Troy. You folks are just going to see mainly plain old rain, and if you do see a little snow mixed in, certainly the ground in your area is way too warm for any of that to hang around. Now, this is the way things are going to play out with our forecast planner. Of course, we've been above freezing so far today, but once we start to get a changeover, not only is the atmosphere cooling up there, it is cooling here on the ground as well. So the temperatures are going to take a dive. In other words, we're going to approach freezing and maybe go below as we go into late day and into the evening hours. So again, the tail end of this precipitation could easily change over to a window of snow. But it's amazing, the Arctic air is not here yet. Look at these temperatures: 37 Walnut Cove, Winston-Salem, and Lexington, 39 in High Point. We're at 38 at PTI, 36 over at Burlington, 34 in Asheboro. Even up along the Virginia border, we've got temperatures that are in the mid-30s this morning. Again, the Arctic front is to our west. So we're in the, I guess you could say, the warm air sector, if you want to call it a warm air sector, as compared to what's on the other side of that front. Because you're going to know when that Arctic air gets here, change over in precipitation type, and also it's going to feel a lot colder as well. So we're east of the front right now, but as we go into midday in the afternoon, the front will wiggle its way just to the east of the Triad, and that's when some of that Arctic air is going to start to really pour in. But you know, it's dense, it's a little heavier, it's very cold, and it's got to climb over the higher terrain of the Blue Ridge. Some of that is moving into the mountains now, but it's got to climb over those mountains, and that's going to take a little time. So this is a situation, quite frankly, excuse me, where we're seeing the cold air chase moisture. In other words, as the moisture moves out, the colder Arctic air is going to move in. But again, I think there is going to be a window of time, midday and through the afternoon, where we could see a period of snow and at least some minor accumulation on those grassy surfaces as we head through the afternoon. But as this Arctic high pressure builds in, all precipitation will gradually move out this afternoon. We'll have a clear sky tonight. We're going to go down to right around 20 for the overnight low. So again, any standing water from rain or wet snow today would refreeze on any of the roadways. So got to be on the lookout for some black ice by early tomorrow morning. That area of high pressure will set up shop just to our south. We'll get on the backside of the high. That's going to help to warm us up. Believe it or not, we could warm into the low and even mid-50s by Wednesday. That's going to feel really good. But behind this cold front, we get a dip in the jet stream. Yeah, and that's pulling down some of that Arctic air from western and northwestern Canada, hence only near 40 for the high coming up on Wednesday. And if you're a big fan of cold weather, it could stay well below normal in the temperatures for the rest of this month. At least that's what our extended temperature outlook is suggesting. Temperatures here locally well below normal, but it is also calling through December the 18th, likely drier than normal. So if that plays out, it wouldn't bode very well for those of you who are looking for a nice snow. Hang in there. Someday the pieces of the puzzle are going to come together and we're going to get a real snow here in the Piedmont. But today it's just kind of an inconvenient mess. Rain this morning starts to mix with a little snow, a window of opportunity for just plain old snow before it tapers off this afternoon. We're going to hold in the low and mid 30s today, and then the sky will clear tonight. Temperatures are going to chill down. By tomorrow morning, we're going to be right near 20, and then a cold day coming up on Tuesday, partly sunny, but only near 40. Checking out that Triad 7-day forecast, I'm kind of ready for that 53 on Wednesday. Where we've been here recently, 53 is going to feel pretty good. Thursday, we're up near 50 and then a little cool back into the mid-40s. It looks as though that system that we're kind of looking at for Friday, right now it's trending drier, so we're only going to go with a 20% chance of what would probably turn out to be rain, but it may actually be nothing at all. I appreciate you being with me for this updated weather segment. Claire Fry will be back in a few minutes, and in the meantime, I'm going to switch you back over to our graphics that are scrolling through that are showing various radars. You stay safe and you have a great Monday here in the Piedmont.